Hi, my name's Wendy, and this is my son Jack, and my husband Tom, and my daughter Lilybo. We all live together. And Jack was born with Down syndrome, so he has a lot of complicated issues surrounding his health. He has heart problem, breathing problems and asthma, skin problems, a liver problem. The list really goes on, and he has quite a thick red book, as you can see, so it gives you an idea of how many problems he has. My daughter Lilybo didn't really have any problems, so we only saw the health visitor a couple of times for just general sort of getting to know you and checks. But obviously with Jack we had to have a much more intense relationship. So we looked for time to build a relationship. She came to visit us quite a lot in the early days and came sort of weekly for weekly ways because of his liver problem. But she was very supportive, and we built a partnership over time. And I've come to view her, Teresa, as a navigator because all the problems that we've had with Jack, she's helped us to understand what the problems are and then to give us the information to make a decision about how to move forward. So sometimes we've had to be asked quite hard questions, and luckily she's got a good enough relationship with us to be able to ask those hard questions in a non-confrontational way, and that's been really good for us. Are you enjoying this? What's that? One of the things that she taught us to do with Jack was to sign from an early age. So we've signed with Jack since he was very, very little, a baby, and his sister is an expert signer. What's that? What is it? Is it yellow? He won't do it on command, but he does sign quite a lot, and it's helped him to develop his speech. And if Teresa hadn't encouraged us in the very early days when he was really too little, then I'm not sure that we would have tried so hard with it for so long. And it's been a really useful skill for the whole family. Another thing that she did, which was really helpful for us at a very young age, was encourage us to buy a photo album and put books in it about Jack and his needs and his life. So it's a very simple book that's got photos in it, and we use it to communicate with Jack and with new people coming into Jack's life, so they can sign with him and sign his name and say hello Jack, and they can understand about his asthma, and which is his primary sort of health problem, and then other things like his nursery where he goes, and even things like going to drop his sister off at school. We've got a photo so I can say, oh, it's time to go to school, and show him the photo, and that really helps. His portage worker, and even going to the hairdressers. So it's quite useful to be able to say to him, oh, it's time to go to the hairdressers, you have to sit still, and then when she's finished cutting your hair you can have a treat. And that really helps him to understand where he's going and what's happening when he doesn't have speech. Teresa recommended this when he was about 6 months old, and we've used it pretty much every day since. So that's a really practical thing that she did for us that's really, really helped. More recently, Jack's had more complex issues, so he needs to have an operation, and obviously explaining to a child who doesn't speak, who can't communicate back about what an operation means is quite difficult. Portage team were brilliant and have made us a special book with photos of Jack in, but we also needed to understand the bigger picture around the operation and what else we'd need. So Teresa spent a lot of time with us, mainly on the phone, talking through what she thought we might need to know. So things like what would actually happen at the hospital, what to do about pain relief, how to protect the wound site afterwards. She encouraged me to look after myself and make sure I've got support in place afterwards in case I need it, to talk to the anaesthetist about some details, and also to have easy food in the house when he comes back from hospital, so if we don't have time to stop and cook a meal, which was really practical, simple advice that just makes a big difference to us as a family. She's also takes an interest in the whole family, so she'll ask about Tom even though he's at work. When she visits us, she'll still ask about him, and we'll talk about the family dynamics and what's going on with us at the moment, and how Jack's extra needs really impact on us all as a family. So she's really been a very holistic kind of partner, a very good support for the whole family, and we've really appreciated her help. If we hadn't have had the health visitor support, I think we would have been quite lost. I'm quite an upfront kind of direct person, and I'll go and ask questions and do research, but without someone who understands the system and understands the structures that are in place for children, I think we would have found it much harder to find the information that we need. So overall, I'd say that having a navigator by your side makes the whole process much simpler, and when you've got a child with particularly difficult additional needs and complex needs, then that makes the world of difference between how you cope and not coping. So I would say overall the health visiting service has been fantastic for us, and I could never thank Teresa enough for what she's done for us.
My name's Faith. I have 2 children, a son who is nearly 4 and my daughter is 8 months. And I had lots of good support from the health visiting team, especially with my daughter. I suffered problems with breastfeeding, and they came out and visited me and gave really good support and advice and reassurance. It's obviously an emotional time when you've just given birth, but they were really good, and I knew that I could contact them if I needed to. She also suffered with colic, so that the advice and support I had with that was brilliant as well. So I definitely recommend health visiting team to friends and family.
Hello, my name is Claire Jones and this is my son Reese. Reese is 7.5 months old. My husband's name is Hugh. Reese is an IVF baby, so very precious to us. I'm quite an old mum, I was 42 when I had him, so he's our first and probably our last baby as well. We first met our health visitor when I was 5 months pregnant. She arranged an antenatal appointment so that I could meet her, so that we would know her before she came to start visiting us at the house. And during that appointment I found that really, really constructive. We had about 3/4 of an hour chat, at which time I wasn't rushed at any time. Teresa gave me some really practical advice about making wills, how I might feel when I've had the baby, how I might feel emotionally, how I might feel when I'm not earning money anymore, all of those types of things. And I really felt from that point onwards that I had a supportive health visitor to go and visit, and any questions that I had as a first time mum. I also found that she was able to work out what type of person I was and be able to gear how she dealt with me and how she spoke with me based on who I was and my personality, and I found that really great, and I know that other people that I know that deal with her feel the same way about her as well. Since we've had Reese, when he was 2 months old, he had a vomiting virus, and we ended up having to take him to out-of-hours surgery over a weekend. And the following Monday, my health visitor called me at home because she knew he'd been in out-of-hours service to check that everything was okay. Did I need any help with anything? I'd actually made an appointment with the GP that day because I was concerned about Reese still, and the health visitor said, as soon as you finish with the doctor, come and knock on the door. And I then had another long chat with her. We weighed Reese to see how much weight he'd lost, and she talked me through everything that I'd done right at the weekend, which was great, which gave me a lot of confidence because we weren't sure what to do and we panicked at the time, as you can imagine. And since then we've seen her regularly for, we had a 4-month check with her, and she's just great. She spends a lot of time with me and the baby. Never feel rushed. We have we can go 2 weekly to a drop-in centre for a weigh-in or just for a chat and advice. We get Reese weighed every month, and we go and see Teresa and she checks him over for his development, and we write his weight in the book, don't we? See how big you've got. And but she's great. I mean, you can just drop in at any time and ask any questions. I had some issues about weaning when we first started. There was a few things I weren't sure of, and Reese was waking up in the night again. So I went down and had a chat with the health visitor, and we talked it through what I was doing and what I could be doing better. And from that day onwards, it was much easier. And we've just found her to be really, really good with advice.
Hello, my name's Tam. I've got 2 children, Sienna, who's 5, and Jasper, who's 3, and I'm 20 weeks pregnant with number 3. We've had lots of help from our health visitor over the last 5.5 years. She's been able to help me when my daughter was very young and had a milk intolerance. The doctor wasn't particularly interested in looking into it as she was breastfed and it wasn't a major issue, but our health visitor was really supportive in helping me figure out what was going on and giving me some points to go back to the doctor with to help them resolve the situation, and it did get resolved thanks to our health visitor's input. My son had reflux when he was young, and again the doctor was reluctant to prescribe medication and didn't think that it was a big problem. Our health visitor could see that it was affecting our family and offered so much support and advice and was able to recommend names of medications I could go and talk to the doctor about. And again, it resolved itself and we felt we had a lot of support. My son has had some hearing problems, and our health visitor has been able to refer us along, but at the same time offer us the support we needed to work through the problems we were having with it. We've felt she's always been there through problems and transitional periods we've had, and it's really reassuring to know that whenever I have a problem, I can phone and get advice and support just to help us on our way. I would really recommend the health visiting service. I think that we have gained a lot from it. We've had a lot of support, a lot of caring input into our family, and it's been a real help.